That is what we do, right? And that is the end of story. So action can be like, say, sending an automated email. The email is sent and the workflow rule is over. However, when we talk about an approval process, it is an extension of this. So what happens with an approval process is, you define a criteria. If the record meets that criteria, you can perform some action, and then you can also send this record for approval. Okay, so it's not the action which happens when the record is entered or updated. It is the action which will happen if the record is approved or rejected. Okay, so certain record, if it meets criteria, it is sent for approval. Okay, sent for approval to anyone. It can be sent to the manager, it can be sent to some employee. Okay, so you also have to define who is going to be the approver. You have to define what criteria you need for any record which needs approval. Let's say any opportunity which is more than a certain amount needs an approval. You need a PTO which is more than 3 days, you need an approval, something like that. So that criteria can be defined, that these records, any record which meets this criteria needs an approval. Okay, that is there. The other thing that you have to define for an approval process is what actions will happen. So what all we need to define for approval process. One, we'll have to select which object we are talking about. Second, what criteria we want to define for records which need approval. Let's say PTO greater than 3 days, for an example, or opportunity where amount is greater than $1 million, or something like that, right? If your discount is greater than 15%. So all these things come under the approval process, the approval criteria, right? So these one of these things can be the approval criteria. So the next is approver. So define an approver. Who will be the approver? Will it be the manager or a certain role or a certain user? So you have all the options of defining the approver. You can choose anyone as approver. Okay. The fourth thing that we have to define here is the action. Now it's not just one action. In workflow, what we had, we just had one action. So if it meets criteria, email is sent, end of the story, right? Here it's gonna be different actions. So here action is not one step thing. Here action can be at different stages. Okay. So if it's an approval process, the approver can approve it or he can reject it. So actions will be defined for different cases. Okay. What actions you want if it is approved? What actions you want if the record is rejected, if it is not approved? What should happen? Okay. Let's say you apply for a PTO which is more than 3 days, needs an approval from the manager, right? If the manager has approved it, then what should happen? If manager approves, you want to send an email to the employee saying that, hey, your PTOs have been approved. If he rejects, then you want to send a different email, right? So that way, what happens if he has approved? What happens if he has rejected? What happens if it is still pending, neither approved nor rejected, pending at this particular stage, right? And apart from this, the other thing that we have to define is what happens if the record is recalled. Something which was submitted for the approval, if that has been recalled by the user, then what happens? Okay. So let's say whenever there is an approval request which is sent to the manager, and then you recall that request, approval request. You might want to send an email to the manager saying that, okay, fine, this request has been recalled, you don't need to action on this. Something like that, right? Got it? So only difference between a workflow rule and approval is, for approval process you need to define an approver and you need to define actions at different stages. The rest everything is similar to workflow. So in workflow we had a criteria, here also we have a criteria. Workflow you have to select an object, here also you need to select an object. There was an action, here you have action for all these different stages. and you have to select an approver. That's it. Okay, otherwise it's pretty similar to the workflow rule. Okay, so let's do a simple example. I think I'll take this HR app example only. Suresh, please give me the password. Let's see what fields we have in the HR app, and we'll try to create an approval process on that.
Jeet, you just mentioned that the only difference in approval process and workflow rules is that the action will have multiple
Stages.
things.
Right. That's correct. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So that's the only difference between them.
Sorry, I could not hear the. You have to ask a question. I can hear you now. Yes. I think I missed on the complete question. Can you ask it once again?
Yeah. Yeah. So the only difference between them is that approval process has different stages of actions. That is it. Nothing more than that. Is it?
It's not only difference, but basically, the primary difference that we are talking about is that while defining it, right? Definitely functionality wise and all that is different. But yeah, primary difference which we see here in terms of defining an approval process and workflow rule, you have to define an approver here, and you have to define actions at different stages. Rest everything is pretty similar to what we did in workflow rule. Correct?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So let us set up an approval process on the PTOs. We have this PTO thing. Okay, and when I try to enter a new PTO, let's see what all things we have. This total PTO hours is what? The time that this guy is applying for the PTO. That's the total PTO hours. Okay. So let's say if the start date and end date, the difference between the start date and end date of the PTO is more than 3 days. Okay. Then you need an approval. Okay. I'm not considering this total PTO hours. We can put some logic on this as well, but we are not going through this. Let's go through this. The start date of the PTO and the end date of the PTO. Based on that, we will calculate. Okay. Can't see. Now can you see? Hello? Yeah. Can you guys see the screen? PTOs? So we are going to put an approval process for the PTO. Okay. Here we have a field called start date and end date. Okay. There is one more field for total PTO hours. I'm not sure what this is being used for, but I'm going to do a calculation on the start date and end date. Try to find out if the difference between start date and end date is 3 days. Basically from start date and end date, if I get to know that it's more a 3 days PTO, then I will need to send this for an approval. Okay, simple logic. So let's try to put this approval process logic. So we'll click on setup, go to create, workflows and approvals. This time click on approval process. Okay. Before we go there, let's also decide on what will be the action. So criteria we have thought of. Let's also think of what will be the action. So what we'll do is this time let's work with a field update. Email alert we have already done. So today let's work with a field update. Okay. So let's have a approval status field. Okay, on PTO, on the PTO object. And this approval status field should have, it should be a pick list, and it should have these options. Not required. So anything which is less than 2 days does not require, 2 days or less than that does not require an approval. pending, approved and rejected and recalled or cancelled. Fine. So these are the pick list options that I'm going to put in this field, and using my approval process I'm going to control this field. So we'll update the field based on whatever is the stage of the approval process. Got it? So first of all, then even before we get into this, what we have to do, we have to add that pick list field, approval status field. Okay. To add the field, let's go to the create objects and then click on new custom object. And then we put PTO approval sorry, we are not adding an object, we are going to add a field, right?
So I was about to ask this for
sorry. So we will go to the PTO and we will add the field there. So we have these fields, we'll add a field here. The data type that we are going to select is pick list, right? So let's have this field here. These are going to be the options. Copy and pick list is the field. Name of the field is approval status. Not required, pending, approved, rejected, cancelled. Okay. These are the options. I will make not required as the default value, right? So anything which is less than 3 days will become by default not required. Click on next. Next. So by default, any PTO which is created, default status of that approval will be not required. But if it is more than 3 days, then it will go to the approval pending stage. Okay. So now let us go and start creating the approval process. So you will go to setup, create workflow and approvals, go to the approval process. Use a jumpstart wizard. Okay. Before you get into this, select the object. So here on the same screen you have to select the object. Which object are we going to work on? PTO, right? Use the select the object and then click on create new approval process jumpstart wizard. Once you click on this, you just have to give a name to the approval process. Call it PTO approval. And make it PTO approval and put it like, okay. So what is our condition? Condition is that end date minus start date should be less than 3, right? So you cannot put it using this these filter options. You have to put a formula there. So what we have to do here, we cannot put a criteria directly. What we will do, we'll put a formula to evaluate this. Okay, so end date minus start date. Where is the start date? My condition is end date minus start date greater than 2. Check. Okay. So whenever end date minus start date is greater than 2, which means why I'm putting greater than 2 is if the applied date is 11th Jan and no sorry start date of your PTO is 11th Jan and end date of your PTO is 14th Jan, this will make it how many days? 4 days PTO. 1 2 3 4, right? So we cannot make it greater than 3 because greater than 3 will become 4 days. Yeah, so if it is 2 then also it's going to be 3 days, right? So we are putting a logic that more than 3 days, right? So that's fine. Okay, if it's greater than 2, then which means it's going to be 4 days, then that's absolutely fine. So we have put our condition here, criteria is there. Now the other thing that we have to do is we have to select an approver, as I told you earlier. The criteria is done, now select the approver, who's going to approve. So you have an option of allowing the submitter to choose the approver manually. While the person is applying for PTO at that time, he can also manually choose the approver. Okay, but if that is not the case, you can always go and assign it to a particular user or something. Okay, so let's say Suresh is the approver for the PTO. All right. We also have an option of assigning the approver from the hierarchy. So you also have an option of sending the approvals to the manager. So manager of that particular user, but we do not have hierarchy defined in this, so we will take that option of a fixed approver, right? So let's say Suresh is the approver and then just click on save. Got it? Done. So my approval process base things we have defined. I have defined the criteria, I have defined the approver, and I have also selected the object. So primary things are done. Now what is the next thing that we have to do? Define the actions. Now you see the actions, as I told you, there are multiple stages of actions which are required here. Submission action, what happens when the record is submitted for approval? What happens when the record is approved? What happens when it is rejected? Rejection actions, recall actions, so all these things are there, right? So when the record is initially submitted for approval, at that time what do I want to do? I want to update the field to pending, right? So let me go and add a field update and say pending. Give it any name. The field that you want to update, what is the name of that field? I want to update the approval status field, right? This is the field that we want to update automatically. So we'll select this. What should be the value to which it gets updated? The value should become pending. Okay, that's fine. So the submission action will change this field approval status to pending. Save it. Go and define the final approval action. In approval action, the same field should get updated to approved, right? So approval status becomes approved. Done. So we have defined action for two things. Initial submission action I have defined, final approval action I have defined. Now let me define the final rejection action. Approval status becomes approved. Sorry, no, not approved, rejected. There's a third one, right? That's fine. Same way, recall action. If the record is recalled, then what happens? The same field gets updated to cancelled. You can put any name for these actions. Basically, I'm just using action 1, action 2. You can put whatever name suits you. Okay, I'm putting cancelled here. So now my approval process is ready. So what whatever we discussed here, that we have to select an object, criteria, approver, and then action for all these stages. That is the same thing what we have done here. We have defined the criteria, approver, everything, and we have defined actions for all the stages: submission action, approval action, rejection action, and recall action. Okay. So for different stages, action is defined based on whatever is the stage of the approval. Your record will get updated. Okay. So that's fine. Along with this, if you want to notify someone, you can also add the email alerts as well along with this. So any stage can have multiple actions. Okay. So you can have 10 actions in any of the stages. So maximum you can have 10 actions. So for submission you can have 10, for approval you can have 10, for rejection 10, for recall 10. So that is how it is, right? So that's there. Now my approval process is, yeah.
Jit, here I have some doubt, like, in approval process we can use either one, in email or field update. We can, are we need to update for every action email only or field?
No, whatever you want to do, so it depends on you that what kind of an action you want, right? So in this case, in this example, we are talking about updating the field. Our requirement is updating the field. Along with this, if you want to do this thing as well, along with this, if you want to kind of send an email also, notify the person who has applied for the PTO, that is also an option. Let's say let me on the rejection, let me notify the user that your approval has PTO has got rejected. So in that case, field update is there. In addition to that, I'll put an email alert also along with this.
Okay, we can add additions.
We can, yes. We can put 10 actions. So in each stage you can put maximum 10 actions. So here you send this thing to the email field. In PTO, do you have email field on that? No, it's not there.
No. In PTO I don't have.
Let's say the owner. We just want to send an email to the PTO owner that okay, it got rejected or something like that. Right? Pretty much doable. Correct?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So now once everything is done, what is the final thing that we do before any rule? Activate. Still it's not active, right? So that is what we do for workflow, that is what we do for validation. The same thing we have to do for approval process as well. But before you go and do the activation part of it, we will need to go and click on view diagram. Not necessary though, it's not required. But if you want, you can always click on view diagram, and from here you can easily see what all from here we can easily see what all process has, the way the process has been defined, or the flow chart of the approval process. It will show us the complete flow chart. So what all steps have been included and everything is visible here. So this is it. Entry, start, initial submission, final recall, this, that, what happens. So either it goes to the submission, then if it is recalled it goes here, if it is approved it goes here, if it is rejected it goes here. So the complete flow chart you will get to see. Okay. Once you are fine with everything, just go ahead and activate the approval process. Now your approval process is active. Okay. Now let's try to create a PTO and see if it is working all right or not. So let's create a request, a PTO request, and see. New PTO. Okay, while you're designing these sample apps, try and not make all the fields mandatory. Then what will happen while you are entering some dummy data for yourself, you'll find it difficult to enter, right? So at any point of time when you are trying creating a sample app, try to keep most of the fields as not required. Fine, that will make things easier for us. So let's select a date. Let's say I want to apply from 21st till 25th. Okay. Okay, I think you already have the status field. We could have used this one, accepted, rejected, pending, right? So this status field this is what? This is a manual field, right? We want to this to be automated. Okay, there is a small change that we will make here. This approval status field is also editable, right? But this ideally this should be a read-only field. If it is approval status, you are not able to, you should not be able to go and manually do it approved. This should be editable. This should not be editable. This should be a read-only field. Okay. So while we were creating the field, we should have made it a read-only. Okay. But nevertheless, let's just keep it to the original, the default status, and the reason is not well. Approver is ABCD. So this approver basically needs to be connected through a user. Okay, save it. What is the problem there? Acha, approval PTOs needs to be number. Okay, that's a 40 word. Fine. So this is what we have now. Now Suresh, can you just check if you have received an email for approval, because you were the approver? Well, you might not have received it now. By now you will not receive it. Check after 2 minutes. So the record is created, right? You will receive after 2 minutes. Approval process does not start instantly. It does not start automatically. The way workflow starts, it does not start. What happens is the person who has created the record will need to submit it for approval. So before it goes to the approver, it needs to be submitted for approval. So the person who is applying for the PTO will have to click on submit for approval. Why this logic is there? The simple reason that we have here is that if the end user wants to make a few changes, if he wants to edit certain things and all, then he should submit it for approval, right? So submit for approval. The moment you submit it for approval, you see the approval status got automatically updated to pending. Now this is at pending stage. Approval history also shows you that this is pending. Okay. Now the moment it has been submitted for approval, the approver will receive an email. So Suresh, now can you go and check if you have received an email?
I think you did not receive the.
I got email approval request.
Got an email, huh?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So someone was asking some other question. What was that?
Jeet, this is Ankit here. Jeet, I think you had mentioned for the actions, you mentioned, once it will get rejected, only then he will receive the email.
No. Okay. That is a good question. See, this is not the approval email or rejection email. This is basically the assignment email, and this is by default set up on Salesforce. It will automatically be sent. So this is sent to the approver. Okay, we don't have to define that. It is by default setup. Okay, so this is an approval email which is sent to the approval email or approval assignment email which is sent to the approver. Suresh, can you forward that email to me so that I can share it with others and I can show how does that email look?
Yeah, 1 minute.
Sure.
Can you give me your complete email address?
It's contactjeetsingh@gmail.com.
I did my email now. It is not showing in the list.
Can you just share your screen and we can see the email?
Yeah.
I'll make you the presenter. You can just share your screen.
Yeah. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes. So where is that approval request email that you have received? Where did it go?
No, it is not showing.
Is it?
That was the first mail I got just few minutes back.
Okay. Can you just try and go back on this?
Yeah.
Go to the back page and you might find it. Can you just click on the back button?
Yeah, I'm clicking the back button.
Okay. And does that help?
No.
Doesn't? Alright.
So sorry, it is not
No problem.
showing
I
up.
think that's fine. So what I'll do is I'll create one more record and then you will receive the email.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me just create one more record. Okay, I just created one more record and I submitted it for approval. Can you just see if you have received an email now? Yes. It's there. So you see there is an email which is sent to the approver. If you see on his screen that there is a request. This guy has requested for your approval on the following item. Now this approver can click on this link and then he can approve it, right? So can you just click on this link, Suresh? So this is the approval link that the manager will get. He can click on this link and then he will have this option of putting a comment and then he can either approve or reject. Whatever he wants to do, he can do that. Got it?
Jeet, can you just summarize the steps, what we have actually done? Just summarize the steps only.
For which thing? For defining the approval process or for approving or rejecting?
No, just for defining the approval process.
Defining approval process, you will just go create the approval process, select the object,
Okay.
define the criteria, select an approver, and define the actions. So actions when the approval is submitted, when the record is submitted for approval, action if the record is approved, actions for rejected stage, and action for recall stage, right? And then you just have to activate that approval process. Once the approval process is active, the person whenever he creates a record which requires an approval, he'll need to go and click on submit for approval. The moment it is submitted for approval, the approver receives an email, and he also receives a link in that email, and he needs to click on that link to approve or reject. But that, so
Okay.
that is how it works.
Now suppose we have n number of objects and for different purpose. So every time we have to choose an object and then we have to repeat the entire process, correct?
For two different objects, yeah, definitely you will have to define two different approval processes, right? So like PTO's approval process will be different from the learning's approval, right? Let's say you want to enroll for a learning,
Okay.
you have, an approval from your manager. So definitely that will have a different logic, so that will be different. So one approval process can be connected to only one object. That is how it is, correct? Because the logics will also change, right? Your approval
I got a
logic
question.
will also change. Yeah. Good.
When we submit the PTO form, why we giving the option for the user to approve? There is a drop down. There is a picture there, right? To approve or reject in there instead of giving the approval that option.
Yeah, could not understand. So it is approved because Suresh approved it. So if he had rejected,
Can you go to the PTOs there so I can show you my doubt.
can you go to which one? Okay, fine. I'll come back to my screen. Wait. Okay, so here is my screen. Tell me.
When we go to PTOs, when we go to PTO new form,
New PTO, okay. Got it.
new
Now,
yeah, now we gonna give a start date and end date is more than two. Then why we need to give approval status as a manual one? What's the need of that in there?
it's not required. That is what I'm saying. That I am not changing anything on this. This was not required. We should have made it read only. So that is something that we missed on. If you want, you can make it read only now. So it was not. It does not need to be there actually. So that was a an error that
Okay,
we
so
did.
it's fully up to the approval or reject, right?
We just can make it read only thing. I'll just make it here for you. Because that has to be a read only field, right?
So okay, so it's supposed to be like the approver can only approve the leave if it's more than two days. Right?
Yes, right.
Okay.
Make it a read only field. That's it.
Okay, yeah. Got it.
So now when you try to enter a form, you will not see that field. Now you still might be able to see that field. The problem is that you have a system administrator right? So system administrator right basically allows you to edit read only fields also. So that is a part of the profile. So but this is something once you have made it read only, a normal user will not get to see this field. They will only get to see the value
If
once the
it's
record
added
is been created.
manually, so then he won't be able to edit it.
Change it, right? He will not be able to change it.
Okay, got it.
Got it? Yeah. Okay. Anyone, any other
Jeet,
question? Yeah.
yeah, Jeet, in the approval option, you had mentioned ABCD while creating that particular request.
Mhm.
So automatically an email was sent to Suresh.
Because
But
so
you had not
it's,
mentioned
it's,
it.
no,
Like,
it is not taking this into consideration. See, this data model is faulty actually. So you cannot have approval text field or something, and he has made it a mandatory field, so I had to put something. But this is a dummy field. It's not considering this approver. This is considering the approver that we defined during the process. So if you go to the approval process, there we have defined Suresh as the approver. Correct? So this field is not being considered.
owner, I guess.
No. Owner
Can
to
you
be
show that process?
owner to be sent an email if it gets rejected, right?
Yeah.
Approver, who is the approver? Where is approver here?
And in case the approver reject this case, then the applicant will get an email, or it will all show on his screen.
So it depends on you. If you have defined an email alert, then the applicant will get the email. If you have not defined an email alert in rejection, you will not get to see. Right?
So in this case, the applicant will be getting a message in that in his field, or
No, applicant will not get any message if you have not defined that thing, the email alert for rejection.
okay.
See, it's a simple story. There are 4 stages. Whatever you want to do at a particular stage, you have to define it. Salesforce itself will not do anything. It will only send that initial email which is talking about that thing. The approval assignment to the approver. That is what Salesforce will do for free. Rest everything we have to define. For free means by default, and rest everything we have to define. What we say, Salesforce will follow that. Correct? Okay. So
Yeah, but in this case, the applicant is not getting any message, right? No way to know whether it's approved or rejected.
in this case, we define an email alert on rejected, na? So that is the reason why he will receive. So this approver here is basically Suresh, who we have set it to a particular user as approver, right? So that is the approver here. Coming back to the question that this guy, I think Rohit or Ankit was asking, the account owner, or the owner of that record, for that we set an email alert here. Oh, we did not. Okay, we did not set an email alert. I was setting up an email alert, but I have not set it. To answer Pravin's question, if you set up an email alert, then he will receive an email. Correct?
Oh, yeah.
If that is not, in this case it's not set up, so he will not receive. See, okay. The assigned approver is Suresh Bare. So this is the person who is approved. I was setting up to the owner as an email alert, not as approver.
So this was assigned automatically, or you had assigned it while
I
creating
assigned
the action?
this approver. I assigned it. While you create the approval process, you assign the approver.
Okay.
Fine. Clear?
Can we able to put more than one person as the approver? If we need a 2 level of approval, then we can put more than one person.
Yes.
Can we add
Then
one more person?
yeah, we can do that. So, but those will be 2 different levels of approval, right? So I'm actually gonna send you a few examples. First of all, I want you to work on this single one step approval process, and I will be sending you example for multiple step approval process also. So you guys can work on that part, and you will have a good understanding. But before you get into the two-step thing, just work on the first step. If you understand the first step, then second step becomes very easy for you. Then it's simple.
Okay.
You can keep on adding steps, whatever steps you want. Got it? Okay.
I have one doubt. When creating fields, can we add any cities? I mean, automatically add cities or country names. I think I didn't find the kind of field type and data type.
What do you want to do? Sorry.
No, while creating any fields for employee information, whatever course details, whatever it is, if you need any country name